It was good.
I hope you're all enjoying the music of Rafi's accordion, ladies and gentlemen. Rafi Zira from Côte Saint-Luc via Israel. Rafi took his lunch hour from his job in Dorval to come here and entertain us, so we're very fortunate, and he's very happy to be united with Jean Perron. They're both Israelis at heart, and it's terrific. So Rafi's adding a beautiful ambiance to today's event. It's very exciting for us to be at the ACC for the first time having our banquet here. We've been looking forward to this for many years. And I'm going to introduce to you our special guests who are with us today. First of all, I'd like to bring up my co-chair, Sam Goldbloom. Councillor Goldbloom, also known as the Côte Saint-Luc Society, Sam Goldbloom.
Hello, everybody. Did you have a good time today? Yeah. How many holes in one were there?
All the money.
I heard, by the way, that there's someone, I don't know if this gentleman is here this morning or this afternoon, who actually made an eagle.
Right here.
For those of you who don't know, an eagle is very, very rare.
Now we have some special guests. They're going to be up here shortly. We are very fortunate to have the president of the CSS, very involved in Israeli hockey, Mr. Community, Alan Maislan. Alan. And also with us, he was part of my foursome. It was an honor to golf with him. I've spent a lot of time with him this year where he's visited our schools. He's a former coach, a Stanley Cup winning coach of the Montreal Canadiens, Jean Perron. Jean, wave to everybody. And he's a terrific golfer.
It's a story when I tell you about Jean Perron. In 2003, the Israeli national team wanted to come to Montreal to play hockey. And at that time, I said to them, well, what do you want to do here? And they said, well, we have a couple of objectives. We have to get ready for the World Championships that we're going to play under the IIHF rules. In addition to that, we want a cultural experience for our kids. And in addition to that, we need to raise money. So I said to the guy at the time who was head of Israel hockey in Israel, I said, well, do you want to get better? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, would you like to get better? And he said, of course. So what we did was, for our first fundraiser, we asked four guys who all have Stanley Cup rings. Jean Perron, Jacques Demers, Pierre McGuire, and Lucien Desroy to run clinics for us in the Côte Saint-Luc arena, which you guys were fabulous to us, and Harold in the back who's been here forever with me. Right, Harold? Helped us with the ring. And we came to Côte Saint-Luc for one of our first times ever in Montreal to play hockey. And from that day, it's been a journey of love, particularly for myself. And when I met Jean, I said, Jean helped us, and then the story goes like this here. I asked Ken Hitchcock at the time, I said, Ken, we have a hockey school in Israel. Would you be kind enough to go over and run the program? And he said, of course. This was in the summer. And then about January, Ken and I were together. They were playing in Florida, I remember. We were sitting and talking. And I said, Ken, I hear you're on the short list to be the coach for Team Canada. He said, no, Alan, I'm not. Don't worry about it. I'm going to Israel, guaranteed. And I said, you're on the short list. Of course, 30 days later, he was told by Bob Nicholson he's got the job as to coach Team Canada, and he said, I can't go to Israel. So I went to Jean, I said, Jean, will you do me a favor? This is the second favor I asked him. The first one was to come here, and the second one to run the clinic, and the second one I said, would you consider running the hockey school in Israel? And Jean said to me, of course, and he went to Israel, and I like to tell this story because it's one of the things in my life that I'll never forget. When Jean came back, and we were sitting in my office talking, I said, what was it like? I could never describe the look in his eyes and the enthusiasm. And I remember the words he said to me. First of all, the privilege to go to Israel. And Jean, I'll put it in his words, for a Catholic, to walk in the steps of Jesus in Jerusalem was something very, very special. And I could see the passion and the enthusiasm that he had. So I said to Jean, Jean, I'm going to ask you a question. But before I ask you the question, I want to tell you right now, you're not allowed to ask me 3 questions. So he says, what's the 3 questions? I said, no, John. I said, I'm going to ask you a question. If you agree, you still can't ask me the 3 questions. So he said, what's your question? I said, would you consider coaching the Israeli national team as a volunteer? He said, yes. He said, yes. He says, what's the 3 questions? You can never ask me for a good goalie, a good defenseman, and a good center. And our boys, I can tell you that from 203 to 208, in our experience, those years for us, Israel every single year medaled in the IHF championships, and we went from Division 3 to Division 1. Division 1, for those of you that don't know the hockey world, is just under the elite division of Team Canada, Czech Republic, Russia, and those guys. And it was an experience for us and a privilege to take the country of Israel around the world. And for those of you that saw the movie Invictus, if you saw the movie Invictus with Nelson Mandela last Christmas, for us getting involved in hockey, it was a passion of ours to play hockey and to be involved, particularly, you know, when they first came to see me and they said, would you consider getting involved with Israel? I said, I starts with Italy. I said, not Israel. I said to the guy, and I said, Sergey, if you were Italy, I'd consider it right away. And anyways, we got involved and we've had a great run. And Jean's been our coach since 203 and 204, Jean, right? And you'll tell them the story about the rings and all that there, but he's been a wonderful volunteer. He's been a true ambassador for the state of Israel. And I can tell you one other story. When we were in Israel a number of years ago, 205, I think, we were asked to visit with a man by the name of Mark Regev. Mark Regev, if you watch television representing Israel, he's the spokesman for Israel for Foreign Affairs. And I said to the person who called me, I said, I'm not interested in talking to him. I need to talk to the Minister of Sports and I need to talk to the Minister of Education because I need money to run the program. And he said, no, you have to talk to Mark Regev. And what Mark Regev brought forward to us is that hockey or sports is very, very important to any country, but in particular to the state of Israel, because it's about fighting anti-Semitism, it's about changing the image of a country. And if somebody would have told us at that time that that's what we're involved in, I would have said, you're crazy. But to stand on the blue line in a country of France, Bulgaria, Hungary, and to listen to a tikva being played, guys, is one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life, and the greatest privileges. And I thank this man because he got us all the publicity, and he brought us the fortune and the great years we've had, and we'll continue to have because we've been re-engaged. And John is back as head coach of the national.
Thank you, Alan. It's always great to come here. I don't know if it's my past experience, you know, studying in my classical studies to study Palestine, because in my days when I was in Quebec, I studied Palestine, and all of a sudden, you know, I go to Israel and I'm ecstatic about being in that place, you know, where the 3 big religions were founded. So every time I go and they asked me to go back this year to coach Israel hockey, and I took the next plane and I went to Israel for a year. I was cold. I was in February, but I had a chance to go to the Dead Sea again. The Dead Sea is a marvelous place. It's not like being in Jerusalem, but it's still one of a kind in this world. But anyways, we had fun today. Played golf. And Michael was getting upset. He was butchering the golf course. I said, Michael, golf is like sex. You don't have to be good to enjoy it. So we had a good time, and I meet nice people. We had my 2 officers, you know, with us, you know, guys from the police department in Côte Saint-Luc, and imagine the gorgeous day on top of that, so it's a great day. I'm going back to Israel because it's my passion, and mainly it's because of Alan Maislan. Alan gave me, like he said before, gave you a chance to see a great country and to bring those guys at the bottom, it's the bottom of hockey in the world, to a certain level. And let me tell you, they have the character to be good. Nobody knows this in North America, but there's 1.5 million Russians in Israel. They all want to play hockey. So I beg Alan every day, I build some rinks in Israel because we're going to be good. Of course, ice hockey in Israel is not a priority, but it's going to be better. Alan is back on the committee. We have a new chairman. I'm excited about what's going to happen in the next few years. I'm not going to be there for a long time, but I'm going to be there to help, you know, to groom some people, you know, to be coaches over there, to take control of the hockey program, and you're going to hear much more positive words about Israel hockey in the near future. As far as the Canadians are concerned, because I got to leave, I have an appointment at the Graph this afternoon. But as far as the Canadians is concerned, you know, I was pissed off, sorry for the word, after what I saw in the last 2 or 3 years. I couldn't stand what happened. I was very critical about the Canadians, and I was right, I think. First of all, you look at the past year, which was the worst since 1939, I would say. That was awful. So at the end, when you're always negative, it's better that you quit the year. And I didn't participate to too many hockey shows at the end of the year because I was sick and tired of all those guys. You know, Gainey was my best captain. I never had a captain like Bob Gainey when I coached. But since Bob Gainey lost his daughter, Bob was not the same. He quit. He wanted to quit, and Gillette decided to keep him on board. He brought Gauthier, and those guys were paranoid. They were very much paranoid. They wanted control. They were freak control. And now we have a brand new GM, and so far it's been my B. For me, it's the B program, because my first choice, and I told everybody, and I told Michael, my first choice was Bob Hartley, but Bergevin was not ready to take Hartley right away because he wanted Mellanby and Dudley to be hired before. So that was, Terrier is a B for me. As far as the rest of the guys, I think they're pretty good, but I was like Mike and a lot of people in Montreal very upset about not having Larry Robinson, but I'm not sure that Larry Robinson wanted to come back here. But Larry was my A choice as an assistant coach. But they took Daniel. So we got a lot of Bs, but those Bs are much better than the Ds we have. So I'll leave you with that word. And
we take a couple of questions, Jean?
I'm positive.
We take a couple of questions. Anyone have any questions for Jean? Alan?
Tell me, how many Jewish hockey players should go on to the Montreal Canadiens in order to make them contenders?
Let's take another question.
How many hockey arenas they have in Israel?
We have 1.5. 1.25. We have a great center which called the Canada Center in Petula. This is a gorgeous place, almost state of the art. And we have the one in Haifa. Is it Haifa?
A lot. There's a new rink being built in the mall in Perron.
Yeah, in the morning.
Is that going to be a regular size rink?
Not enough money.
No, they don't want to, there's not enough investors for hockey in
But if
Israel.
you're interested, we're ready to.
I'm just curious, I mean, if he's behind it and he wants to grow them, might as well have some facilities.
Yeah.
We agree.
I know my goalie is Goosen, talk about a goalie who was the heir apparent of Tretiak. He's my goalie.
Goalie coach.
No, he's still my goalie for Israel. He's 41 years old.
Wow.
And he wants to build, but he's all by himself, he can't do it.
Yeah. Phil Wax, this gentleman, go ahead.
What do you think of Bouillon coming back to Montreal and why?
Bouillon is better than Weber. He's better than Diaz. We can't win with Weber and Diaz on defense.
They're both the same.
But Bouillon he's got more grit. Bouillon is going to be a 5 or a 6. Unless they say, hey, we're going young and we're going to play no matter what, Weber and Diaz. Personally, we're not going to win with Diaz and Weber. No freaking way.
You think that, living in Quebec and the people that run the Canadians, I guess, have one hand tied behind their back because of the French issue. And I'm not against the French issue, but you mentioned about Hartley. I mean, there's a lot of things that sort of become negative if they want to talk about bringing in, Hartley speaks in French, okay, but the French press specifically, I guess, just tears apart. A lot of hockey players don't want to come here for that reason. Even French hockey players don't like that.
The French hockey players are going to come here if the team is winning first, and second, if they're not alone. Who wants to come as a French Canadian, when you have one French Canadian, all the microphones are going to be in front of this guy. He's going to have to answer the same questions every day, like Dosh. I couldn't believe that Dosh was not signed, but that last year he was the only guy that the Francophone press wanted to interview.
Now they have Bouillon.
Now they have Bouillon, yeah. But in my days, and in the days of Toblake, we had half the team, almost half the team, that were French. So they could share, the press guys easy. But now it's getting to be a problem, and that's why the Francophones don't want to come here. And I don't blame them.
They should switch language to rappers.
Yes. Any other questions for Jean?
Yeah, one.
Go ahead. The kid county.
In the 1960s, the 1970s, some of us here, we grew up with people the likes of Bellevaux, Cornway, Richard, and it was a privilege for these people when they put on the sweater of the Bleu Blanc Rouge. In the 1990s, I sat in a restaurant with a player of the Montreal Canadiens, and I asked him, I said, how do you feel, how does it feel playing for the Montreal Canadiens? And he looked at me, and you know what he said? I don't play for the Montreal Canadiens, I play for the NHL. So my point that what I'm trying to say is, if the players today don't have the loyalty to their own organization, rather than the whole league as a whole, how are they going to go out and play with a heart like the players in the 60s and 70s?
And this is why, I have a problem with all the guys that followed Serge Savard, because Serge Savard was such a Quebecer in his heart that every time he talked to a player, he said, hey, this is a privilege to play for the Montreal Canadiens. It's got to come from the top. And Pierre Gauthier didn't believe in those guys from Quebec. And last year I followed the Quebec Junior Hockey League, and I saw this kid who's 6'3", Alexandre Mallet, from the Océanique de Rimouski, 6'3", skates well. He's 215 pounds. I guess the 6th best scorers in the Quebec Junior League. He was invited by the Capitals as a free agent because he wasn't drafted. And the Canadians didn't even invite him to his development camp or whatever they call it. This year, that Mallet is drafted 2nd round by the Canucks. And this is a center. We don't have enough center icemen in Montreal. How come this guy goes to the Canucks? Because the Canadians never followed the Quebec Junior Hockey League. I told Mike and Sylvain and Jean-Pierre this morning that I was playing golf. In my days, Serge Savard had 3 full-time scouts in Quebec and 25 bird dogs all across the province of Quebec, and we got a guy that's called Gilles Thibodeau, Junior B, in Saint-Eustache. We gave him a chance. He goes to the American Hockey League, and he's the best scorer of the American Hockey League. And all of a sudden he ends up playing for me in Montreal. He was not big enough, but at least he played 125 games in the National Hockey League. But that was Serge Savard's philosophy, that we have to look in our home ground before we go somewhere else. Anyways, I can...
I hope you guys had a wonderful time playing golf today. I want to thank Mike and Sam as co-chairs of the event. I want to thank all of the Parks and Recreation Department, Harold and Alvin and David and Ryan and Danica and Jessica and whoever else is here. Heather, Val, even though they have nothing to do with this event. I really think that our Parks and Recreation Department is one of the best departments in the city. They do an outstanding job to make everybody's life more happy on a daily basis in Côte Saint-Luc, and I want to thank them for what they do. And of course, I want to thank all of you for coming and participating in this golfing outing. I really appreciated Jean Perron being here, and I really appreciated the interest that this city has in hockey and in the Montreal Canadiens, and in what he's doing with the Israeli hockey program. Next year, I'm hoping to actually go back to Maccabea Games for swimming again. One of those things where getting back into sports, even at an older age, can get you to get back into competition. And I encourage everyone here who, at whatever age, is going to get back into sports, whether it's golf or another sport. It makes your life so much more enjoyable, so much more pleasant, and it keeps you so active and so young for so long. I mean, look at Mike Cohen, for example. Who would have known this man is 93 years old? Anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. I really, again, appreciate all of the fact that you contributed. And oh, one more thing, I want to thank the sponsors for the event. Alan Levine in his hand has the list of sponsors for the event. And these guys, you contributed. Whoever's here who's a sponsor, and whoever's not a sponsor, whoever didn't sponsor something, well, next year you should sponsor something. Anyways, have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like to personally thank David Tabaroff, our Director of Parks and Recreation, who went out and got Jean Perron and Alan Maislan. It was a quick conversation I had with David. The next morning, typical David, Mike, I'm on it, they'll be there. And that was a few months ago, so I think we've set a new step for this event. So for the first award, the closest to the pin, I'm going to have Mayor Housefather. Can you come and present this first award? Sure. Okay, before you go on to your next, back to work. So the winner is Sam. Go ahead.
Was Sam the winner? The winner. Always the winner. The winner of closest to the pin on the 16th hole. I'd like to bring up a female winner, by the way, Judy Weber. The next award, closest to the pin, for a male winner, Mr. Beryl Pellets. Come on up, Beryl. Female runner-up award, closest to the pin. It's my pleasure to call up Helen Zaffron. My constituent from District 6, Alan Maislan. Our male runner-up award, can you all hear me, is Harry Redder. Come on up, Harry. This next award is going to be for our female winner, longest drive trophy on the 17th hole, none other than Judy Weber. This is going to be for the longest drive trophy to the male winner, none other than Jerry Scheckman. Come on up, Jerry. The next award is runner-up for the longest drive in the female category. This is a case of deja vu. Come on up, Helen Zafran. The next award is for the runner-up in the male category, none other than John Elias. Come on up, John.
Rafi, that was great. Ladies and gentlemen, Rafi's accordion. What amazing music.